another Facebook Live Q&A with selling your home, getting it ready to sell today. And we have a superior real estate agent, Stephan Brochu. How you doing, Stephan?
Great.
Remax Grand, right here on South Saginaw Street in Grand Blanc. But you work the whole state, right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
our license is good for anywhere. The UP works too.
You know, I had one in Traverse City one time, and I made sure it was on a Friday night so I could stay the night there and get out on the water and everything. So yeah, awesome. So we're going to talk about getting your home ready for sale. Stephan is a guy I've known for a long time, does a great job. So first we'll talk. I'll just do a quick intro of myself and then let him do the same. If you don't know me, I'm Jeff with Epic Mortgage. I've been in the mortgage business since 2003 through all the craziness, and we're still here. So started Epic Mortgage in 2013, and we are a division of Success Mortgage Partners. So we are right here local to serve you, but we can do the whole state and also the state of Florida. And then Stephan here, why don't you tell us about when you got in real estate?
Well, I started back with my wife, Vicky. That was in 2001. We've grown into a small team of 5. And our wonderful assistant, Tanya, I think she's watching.
She's probably the best in the business, I think.
Yeah, she's fantastic. And we have 2 buyer's agent, Brett Miller and Josh Holbrook. So they're very good themselves. And we don't want to get too big. We like to have a small team where, we know what's going on every aspect. But we buy and sell, we do commercial, we do multi-units, small apartment buildings. So we've done it all. So.
All right. Well, I like to talk about what you did before you got into real estate.
Yeah. Well, I used to play pro hockey. A lot of people watching probably know that. So I used to be the captain of the Flint Generals for years.
The Colonial Cup winning Flint Generals.
That's right. That was 1996, May 13th. It was a Monday. I remember clearly. It was a great day, great night.
Was that a home game?
It was a home game. It
Sweet.
was Game 6 against Thunder Bay, and we were winning 4-0 after 1 period. We were winning 8-0 after 2, and that was the decisive game. So
you're like, it's over.
And the funny thing is, between periods, I mean, there was not a word being said in the locker room. Everybody was quiet. We knew we were 20 minutes away from getting the party going and raising the cup and all that. So, but the atmosphere in the arena that night was unbelievable. I'll never forget that moment.
So if someone sells their house with you, the listing agreement that you signed, that would be like your autograph on there.
Yeah, well, I got 1 game in the NHL, so I don't think my signature is too valuable, sadly enough. I don't think you can go on eBay and start selling your listing agreement paperwork.
All right. Well, okay. So that's a little intro about us. Now I just want to ask, go over a few topics before we do the Q&A. Obviously, a lot of people come on, but just so you know, we're on 3 different things right now. We're on Stephan's page, my page, and the Epic Mortgage page. So there will be some questions on different ones, and we'll try to keep track of all of them. But if you don't get your question answered, just reach out after, and we'll definitely take care of you. So, Stephan, why don't you tell us why it's a good time to sell your home right now, just in general?
Well, the inventory, I think it's been publicized quite well. I mean, the inventory is very low. There's many buyers are out there, and they're having trouble finding the right home. Of course, let's talk about Genesee County. It doesn't affect every price point. Some are definitely more in demand than others. But if you're looking between 100 and 250, there's a lot of competition out there. So if you're a seller, you're in the driver's seat. If your home shows well and you have the right amenities, you'll more than likely have a fairly quick sale, and you'll do good for your pocketbook.
Okay, cool. So then, on the flip side, at least at this time of year, we're getting into the fall, then we're going to get into the winter. What would make it advantageous for someone just on the flip side to want to buy?
Well, on the buy side, obviously, the interest rates have been very low for quite some time. That's obviously your department. But, I mean, it's a matter of economy or personal choice as far as why it's a good time to buy. But we're starting to have a little bit more inventory. Not a ton, but there's probably less competition now for people looking for a house. If you wait until May or April, I mean, that's when everybody's gonna start looking,
Right.
right? They're gonna get their refunds from the IRS, and, you know, that's when people typically start to look more.
Right.
So.
Perfect. All right. So one thing I want to just bring out that we do, you know, in this industry that's pretty cool is because a lot of people when they want to sell, it's because they want to buy. They don't necessarily have two houses and need to get rid of one. Sometimes you see that. But simultaneous closings, you know, you handle those a lot, right? Where we're dealing with the seller trying to sell a house, buy a house, and get it all done at the same time.
Absolutely, yeah, we've done that a lot. We sell over 100 homes a year, so we've been through that scenario many times. So that's the biggest fear that we sense when I go to a home. I sit down with the couple or the family, and it's time to sell. You know, they're worried about what if I sell and don't find the right house, or vice versa. So that's where we need to put certain things in the paperwork to make sure that you're not homeless. So that
Right.
we're gonna find you the right home. We might have to do a contingent offer, and you never know. But anyways, we'll figure out a way to get you in the right house and sell your home at the same time.
Cool. And that's something that it is an issue with us a lot too. Like people say, can I buy and own two houses? But you can. You don't have to sell, but we have to qualify you with both payments. So if your debt ratio you have to be able to carry both payments and still have, after all the stuff in your credit, you still have to have, 45 is the low end to 55% of your gross income left after all your bills and both house payments. So that's pretty hard to do. So that's when we try to, you sell, basically that sale happens first, but on the same day, and then the funds from that sale might apply to the purchase. So yeah, that is definitely a good thing to do.
Not many people can obviously go that route. I mean, you have to have extreme income and be very somewhat frugal with your
Right.
money, right, to be able to get to that point. But
So doing them
you never know.
simultaneously.
It's time to find out with your loan officer, and it might just work like that. Yes.
Right. So I think we see a lot of people. I just had someone call me, a friend of mine. He might be watching. That I've known for a long time, and they just had a baby, and so it feels like yesterday I did his mortgage, and now he's saying we might want to move again because they added a child and work took them far away. So you see a lot of people moving up in home size.
Yes,
quite a
the
bit.
economy seems to be doing well. The people's jobs are secure and steady, so they don't have to worry about that. And maybe they're getting a raise or whatever.
Yep.
They're moving up in the world, so that's really awesome. Personally, what I've seen in the market too is I see more and more the millennials, the kids that are in their 20s or mid-20s, and they're buying homes now. That's fantastic. During the crash, a lot of them were probably living with their parents in the basement, and now they went out, they bought a home. So the home they're buying, those folks are more than likely moving up and getting a bigger house. So
Right.
we see a lot of that, and to me, that's beautiful. So the homes that are, let's say, the 75 to 125 range, they're moving in our area now because they're getting more and more young kids buying. That's
Right, that's
fantastic. I love it.
That's good. It's a good step to take, to stop throwing your money away to your landlord, even though I am one of those. But I mean, I tell everyone, buy a house. It's good.
Exactly.
It's a good investment.
A lot of kids, they don't know that the interest you pay is a tax deduction, or your property taxes and all that. So, yeah, for sure. Yeah, put some money in your pocket, so to speak.
Right. I only have one more thing before we get into these questions that Zach's been tallying, but I hear this a lot on both sides. I'll tell people that are trying to buy, and I say, "Do you have a realtor?" They'll say, "No, I don't yet," and I'll say, "Well, do you want to get one?" And I try to say it's free. They say, "Well, I don't really have the money, but it's totally free." So they're pre-approved. So how does a realtor get paid? Listing, buying,
Correct,
both
yeah.
sides. How does that happen?
So the buyer, your fee is basically with the lender, right? The bank that will give you the money. So the fees are typically associated with that, and the prepaid, which are your taxes that you have to pay up ahead of time. So the commission is paid by the seller, and that's something when we sit down at the table with a family that's time to sell, we explain to them, we call it the cash out, all the expenses that are included when you sell. So the seller pays the commission, the buyer, luckily they don't have to worry about that on that front.
Right.
And that's something we go over all the numbers when we sit down with the seller.
All right. Well, Zach, what kind of questions are you finding for us?
Yeah, first one that came in here says, they're asking, what condition should the house be in order to sell?
Well, that's
Okay.
a two-part question. You go on as far as how to get it to move, and then I'll talk about the financing.
Yeah,
You know.
well, to the home, basically you're an agent, you're bringing these homes to the buyer. So we're setting up a date, so to speak, right? So if you go online and trying to find a date, you see a picture. So nowadays with all the pictures
Swipe
of
left
homes,
if you're interested, and right if you're not.
so, I mean, you know, we'll put the pictures online, and the buyers, 99% of the time, they see it now. So the curb appeal is very important. You need nice landscaping, nice presentation, you know, clean. It's got to look clean from the outside. The first step, to me, when I go show a home for the first time, I'm meeting with the couple, and I open the lockbox, I get the key, you know, I introduce myself, looking forward to show you a few homes. The first thing is to have a key that works well. You'd be amazed how many houses you go there and the key it's just not going in there. It's a little rusty, and
That would be terrible.
you can't, and it's just a bad first impression. So if you're gonna, you know, have a nice front door, nice presentation, nice first impression when you walk in the house.
And that includes the smell, right?
The smell, yes.
People don't like the smell of cat pee. I just want to say that. Generally.
Yeah, that's normally a deal killer really quick.
I heard someone say, bake cookies right before you leave when you're going to show your house. Bake cookies, you know, even leave them in the oven, turn the oven off, and just leave. And the cookies, the chocolate chip cookies, man, or
yeah, that's good. And they have all these scents that you can, those plugins.
Right.
You know, you can have all the different flavors. That works really good. If I go in a home and it's well lit, lots of lights on, maybe a little background music, soft music, a nice smell, then it gets things going on the right track right away. And so that's a good thing to do.
Like the dating thing, if you get the pictures online and then you get there and you're like,
it doesn't match the picture.
Is this picture 5 years old?
Exactly.
Like,
you're getting what I was trying to get to.
So make sure, as nice as you make it look for pictures, because you're going to go out and take pictures to get online, right? When you list a house, that's like a big thing.
We do the pictures,
Nice pictures.
we do the videos. If a home has a little bit of land, we'll do the drone, you know, we do all those things.
So if, you know, the pictures looks really nice and then the people come through and there's a big hole in the kitchen wall, it's not going to show well.
Yes,
You wanna
exactly.
Make it
But
match.
the smell, and one it's kind of tough to address with a seller might be of animals, right? Let's say you have 2 dogs, you love your animals, they're great. But when you live there day in and day out, you might not realize that maybe there's a little bit of a smell of a dog or a cat or whatever the case may be. So it's probably a good thing to, you know, work on cleaning the home, maybe put some scents out there because not all buyers will like animals or, you know, dogs and stuff.
You're totally right. You like lose the fact that you don't know what your house smells like. Just most people don't. I don't. You know.
Correct.
I
mean,
don't
that's
know
a small detail. I'm probably getting a little deep into it here, but
if you have your, you know, maybe you don't want to say it, but have someone come to your house that doesn't live there and say, "How does my house smell?" It doesn't
that's
hurt.
true. And that's our job.
Be honest.
As a real estate agent, you know, it can be tough sometimes, and we're not there to tell you what you want to hear. We're trying to be totally honest with you on the value of your home, things that need to be done, and what we think the true value will end up being at the end.
Right. And so as far as the condition of the home for a mortgage, you got to think about someone's got to buy your house and they have to get approved for financing. As we talked about last week, RD has some requirements, but basically they're using FHA. So our FHA's requirements, VA, if someone's getting a VA loan, everyone makes it sound like it's a nightmare. It's not that much different. I've seen VA where they pay attention to the drainage, like if the ground goes toward the house, they say, oh, water could seep in there, so build up the ground. That's like the only thing that I've seen on a VA that I've never seen on FHA pretty much at all. So FHA is really going to ask for paint to be scraped and repainted. If it's flaking or powdering, they'll ask for it to be scraped and repainted. Does it have to be perfect? No. I mean, I've had people say, well, it's cold, it's not going to last. Well, that's not really the point. when you're into financing, we want to close, and then, you know, buyers involved there, so they know they might have to repaint this. We just got to, you know, get it to the condition where it's needed. There's sometimes handrails; those are like not asked for as much anymore because it's got to be dangerous. Exposed wires, broken glass, stuff like that. I've seen like where the frame was broke on the door because someone kicked it in, so they're like, well, anybody can push their way in. It depends on the appraiser, but the paint things almost always, unless it's conventional, then, you know, you want to have finished flooring. These are things that you want to have anyway if you want to really sell your house. You know, as a buyer, if you're looking at a house that needs work, those are things to consider. As a seller, you really want to have the paint looking good and the windows not broken and no exposed wiring and the plumbing. You know, the appraiser goes in and turns the faucets on. They're really supposed to turn them all on, flush all the toilets. Correct. So they don't always, but
it happens to us a lot. We'll have a seller contact us and say, well, we're thinking of selling within the next few months. You know, can you come and look at our home and tell us what you think? And those are the items that we go through, and we tell the seller we can attract a cash buyer, conventional buyer, but there's a good chance it could be FHA or rural development loan. Therefore, they will be a lot more stringent on the appraisal. So those items need to be done. And more than likely, it's typically like a deck. It's got some flaking paint. We'll need to take care of that. You might have a cracked window on a basement window that'll need to be changed because that will be a condition. So we'll just talk about these different things.
Yeah, you'd like to go from comparing the amount of people who can buy this house, so it's in bad condition, so cash. So you got, you know, not that many
small
people,
pool
but
buyers.
if you want to have the big pool, you got to just be to where any financing would work and all that good stuff.
And that's what we end up talking about in those instances. But yes, if you can attract all these types of buyers, your chance of getting the most money for your home is definitely much higher.
Perfect. Zach, number 2, if we got
Number
one.
2, yeah. It says, what improvements will get the best increase of value?
Okay, best improvement, and that's another question we have our sellers. They want to know. We always basically say the same thing: kitchen, bathrooms.
Yeah,
those are the best 2 for sure. And then, you know, possibly if you want to put some nice hardwood floors, but everybody's got a budget, you know. So okay, I've got $7,000 to work with, and they've got a beautiful kitchen, but the bathrooms are outdated. So we're probably going to say, let's do the bathrooms and perhaps get some new flooring in the living room or kitchen and things like that.
But what everyone has to also realize is that there's a difference between doing improvement and getting more value, or doing improvement to getting more people that want to buy your house, right?
Correct.
Because like a kitchen does raise the value, but finishing the basement, if it costs $15,000, every time I see a finished basement on an appraisal, it's worth $8 to $10,000.
Oh, for sure.
So what you won't get your money back, but you might find more people that want to buy it because maybe you have a bedroom down there or an extra bathroom down there. And,
the worst 2 are for sure the pool. If you decide to put $25,000 in a pool, you're probably not going to get it back.
That's because you're shrinking your pool of buyers, right?
A lot of buyers,
no pun intended.
They don't. Yeah. A lot of buyers, they don't want the pool because they have either young kids or they don't want the maintenance.
Right.
You know, a lot of different aspects. So a pool is probably number 1 as the worst investment if you're going to put in some money.
If you put in a pool, plan on living there a long time.
Exactly. Really enjoy it like crazy, have fun, but if you put it in and expect to get the money back right away, it's not going to work. Finished basement will be number 2. I mean, it's to get your money out of all the money you'll put in there right away. It's probably not going to happen.
If you do, the only chance you have on a basement is doing pretty much like everything yourself, right?
Yeah.
If you hire a contractor, you're never going to see that money.
And then if you do it yourself, you got to be good.
Yeah.
Because if it looks like, let's say, a job I would do, you know, there's no sense doing
Probably
it.
me too.
It's going to be bad, yeah.
You're
losing value.
You don't like the ceiling tiles being all janky, you know?
Yeah, you're going to lose value.
What else we got, Zach?
Let's see. This one says, how do I know how much I will make when I do sell my home?
Oh, yeah. He's talking about going through a sheet for that?
Correct. We have a sheet, we call it a cash out. And whenever I meet with a seller, we go for a hypothetical price that I feel we can get for the home. And I tell them, this is your point of reference. We can always use this and go back to it because it's going to be fairly close. so your expenses are, we discussed the commission, and then you have we're a title insurance state, so we'll need to pay for title insurance, because the lender giving the loan to your buyer will not be able to do so unless it's clear title, obviously, right?
Right.
You run into that. And then we have the transfer taxes. So I put those in there, and then the other optional ones would be like a home warranty, or, possession time if you end up staying there, or different things like that.
Concessions would be
Concessions.
closing costs of prepaids that the buyer may negotiate. So you don't mean so that's just $1 for $1. That's easy. You tell them what you're gonna get, and if the buyer wants $3,000, then you're getting $3,000 less.
That's right. Yeah, that's pretty. Everybody can figure that out for the most part. So we go to those numbers, and years ago after the crash, it was very sad because I would go to a seller, we'd do the cash out, and it would be negative. They'd be in the hole. So we just couldn't sell. But now we're back on our feet, so to speak.
Sure.
Our areas, there's hardly anybody that's underwater anymore. So that's great, obviously.
That is good.
Yeah.
Next one.
Yeah, next question says, how do I know how much to list my house for?
Well, that's why you have Stephan.
That's right. That's the big question. Because selling a home there's a lot of emotions involved from a seller. They have all the memories, neighbors, raised their kids there. And so obviously they love their home, but you have to also be practical and logical, because, and I explained to the seller, you can't get the house sold unless it appraises for the amount. If we get a cash buyer that doesn't even want an appraisal, then we're in business. But more than likely, they're gonna pull comparables, there's gonna be an appraisal, and it has to appraise for that amount. So when I meet with the sellers, that's the big thing, is trying to get that price that the home will appraise, so we can get to a closing once we have an offer that's accepted. And we want to get you the most money, but we always want to create traffic. So if we go to a high number where there's no showings, then we price too high, and it's not going to get the home sold. So it's a balancing act. You want to get the most money as possible, but you always want to get traffic that will create offers.
Right.
So
This one may need a little bit of explanation as to what it is first, but it says, does staging really work?
it does. A lot of people do the staging.
So that's like changing the look of your house, like from what you've had it while you're living in it.
Correct.
You make
and then you can bring a professional. They will do it for you at a cost, obviously, or they can come in and help you with ideas, or tell you what to do, so to speak. But it does work. We have like pamphlets and even videos that we send to our sellers to declutter. Everybody use that word, declutter. Make it look as spacious as possible.
I've seen take pictures of your family off the wall, which that just creates
Yes.
nail holes are left. So you
Yeah,
go buy
you
some,
wanna
you buy some generic pictures.
I know you want the buyers, when they go in there, you don't want them to be too distracted looking at pictures, and also you want them to feel like they can live there. They can,
like it can be their home.
They're moving, they're looking at it like, what, I can see myself here.
But all these pictures of these other people, that'd be, it'd be weird to live in this house with all these. Like take those down and
they got all the pictures of 3 dogs in every picture. Well, we don't have dogs. I mean, whatever. But,
maybe you should, get new bedding. Maybe sometimes is that part of staging?
Yeah,
if you have a 1978 flower pattern on your bed, it's
yeah, that
maybe
might
not attractive.
Exactly. If you got young millennials looking at the house, they might not go there. But that's not somewhere that I go with my sellers. I mean, that's.
What do you do with? Let me ask you this. I've seen this before. Right? What do you do with a fluorescent green kid's bedroom? Do you tell the people if you really? I mean, I'm sure you love little Bobby or Susie, but if you really want to sell this house, maybe you should paint that a neutral color.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that. Most buyers now are pretty. They know they can get in there and
But you
paint,
said distraction when you walk in the room.
sometimes, exactly, you need sunglasses. That's not a good thing, right? But yeah, typically buyers, we tell them, hey, you can have this painted, no big deal. Or lots of times the seller will give an allowance. there'll be like a $2,000 allowance towards paint or something like that. But if you're planning on selling within, let's say, a month, and I go and meet with you and you have some time, then to repaint the home, more neutral colors, it's always a good thing.
Right. Any more, Zach?
This is the last one I have in right now. It says, what do I do for showings?
Oh, like if you're already listed with Stephan and you say, hey, this person wants to see your house.
Yeah, it's pretty cool how we do things now. Most people, they opt for the text. So let's say a home with a couple, one of the two spouses will say, okay, text me for showings, and it goes automatically to them. So an agent makes a request for tomorrow between 3 and 4, for example. The text will go to the lady of the home, and she can text her husband 3 to 4 tomorrow. Are you okay with that, or whatever? And all they have to do is click yes.
Do you get a copy of the text too, so you know what's happening?
Yes, we know the agent's showing it. We know if it's a first or a second showing. We know the length of time that they're requesting. Typically it's 1 hour. Sometimes they'll only be half an hour, whatever. But so it's quite ingenious. It's very easy. That's a smooth process.
And then they just need to do what we talked about earlier: make it smell good, make sure it's tidy.
Exactly.
Put Fido outside in the doghouse.
That's always a good
or
thing.
take him with you. You go to the grocery store or something because you got to leave your house for an hour. You want to.
Yeah, well, normally homeowners, they know their pets. Sometimes they'll have a crate if it's a dog that doesn't bark like crazy and stuff. So they'll leave it in the crate. It's only an hour, so that's fine. So we'll go on showing some. You'll see some puppies and their great behavior. Sometimes you go in one and they bark the whole time. It's kind of a little disrupting.
Yeah, it's hard
It doesn't help to talk about the house with the buyers, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, oh yeah.
All right, was that all, sir?
All right, let me just check these one more time. Yeah, I don't see. That looks like that's it.
Covered them. All right, man. Well, thanks a lot for coming, Stephan. If you want to reach Stephan Brochu, you can call him at his office, and he is with Remax Grand. Which number is the best for you?
Call my cell or text me. It's always, a phone call is great. 810-397-5343.
All right, you can call our office and get me or anyone on our team to help you out with any financing questions. We could talk about what you could qualify for if you were to sell your house first. And our number is 810-606-1075. So until next time, thank you very much for tuning in, and I look forward to giving you some more information in the future. And Zach now has to cancel a bunch of different things at the same time.